Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. We'll talk a little bit about a company called Electroplast. That's ElectriPlast.com. If you want to learn more about it, it is an integral technologies company. And if you're not exactly sure what that is, like me, you're going to learn about it here in this segment with Doug Bathauer. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Great. Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of give us your elevator speech, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Doug Bathauer. I'm the CEO of Integral Technologies, and Electroplast, as you had said, is a wholly owned subsidiary of Integral. What we do is we make conductive plastic. And let me put that very simply. We make a plastic that has the physical characteristics of plastic, so you can mold it, extrude it, all the various things that you can do with plastic. But at the same time, we have the electrical properties of metals. So we basically have the best of both worlds. We have a plastic that can be used for electrical applications.
A plastic that can be used in electrical applications. Give us an example of how that would look.
Sure. I'll give you an example of what it's most widely used for, and then I'll give you an idea of where we're headed into. I won't get too technical here, but basically anything that electrical current runs through, it emits a tremendous amount of interference, which is called electromagnetic interference. And all of your electrical devices have to be shielded from this interference, otherwise they wouldn't work properly. So your cell phone, your telephone, your computer, all of your car has to be shielded. Right now, that shielding is being done with metal or some other extra process. What we're able to do is replace those metals with our material, and so what you're getting with that is a 50 to 60% weight savings, as well as the whole opportunity to reduce cost, and it gives you a lot more flexibility when you're actually designing applications.
Okay. And it sounds like you have a lot of industries that you work with, a lot of verticals. Kind of give us an overview of some of those.
Yes. We really cut our teeth, if you will, in transportation, particularly in the automotive sector. But, beyond that, our biggest focus is weight savings. And there is hardly an industry out there, other than sumo wrestling, where weight reduction is not a big factor. So some of the verticals, for example, consumer electronics. Yes, consumer electronics really want to get the weight down because of logistics. A lot of the consumer electronics are manufactured in Asia. They get shipped all around the world. Lighter weight equals a reduction in logistics costs.
Yeah, back in the 80s, cell phones could be both free weights as well as a form of communication, a very expensive one. And
Absolutely.
so, obviously, you can see where a company like yours has probably been cutting-edge pioneers in what we have today as far as cell phones.
Absolutely. Well, and when you bring up cell phones, we don't have a current application out there for what I'm about to bring up, but antennas are obviously a very huge solution that we can provide as well, because since we are plastic, you could actually mold the antenna into the frame of anything you want. Mm-hmm. So your entire case of your cell phone, for example, could be an antenna.
Yeah. So a lot of different industries. Are you working mainly with enterprise-level companies or mid-market companies as well? Kind of give us an overview of the type of companies you work with.
Absolutely. What we've done, like right now we're working with OEMs and tier ones on the transportation side of things. So that would be your automobile manufacturers as well as the suppliers to them. But us as a company, we made a decision about 2.5 years ago. We really saw this as an industry that was really going to grow very rapidly because of the tremendous push in lightweighting that's really resurged over the last few years. And so what we've done is we've made a decision to partner and work with much larger companies. So, for example, our Asian manufacturing is being done by Hanwha out of South Korea. Or they're actually the exclusive manufacturer in South Korea. We signed a letter of intent with BASF 2 years ago. We also signed a joint development agreement with Delphi Automotive. So what we're doing is we're using some of the larger companies and really leveraging some of those resources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, in terms of the listener out there, what are some takeaways that you want them to have when it comes to what you're doing and the difference it makes in the world in which we live in as consumers?
Sure. The real with any newer material, it really is about thinking about something differently, and that's really what we're about. Is a new material. We're replacing things. Look around an office, in your car, anything that you see there that there's a current running through that's currently made of metal. We can change that, and we can make that out of plastic. And an example that we've just recently announced and have come out with is we've made a new plate for a battery, and I'm referring to batteries that would go into cars, wheelchairs, motorcycles, what the typical consumer would associate with. And so what we've done is we've invented a battery plate that doesn't reduce. It takes away the need for a lead plate inside of a lead-acid battery. It's made of our material, and we serve as that conductor. So that's an example of something that taking an industry that's been around for many, many years and entirely changing how that's made.
Mm-hmm. And so, like in 2015, what is would you say, the state of your industry?
The state of our industry?
Yeah.
Yes. I used this as an example in a conference call not too long ago, and I referred to the industry as seeing a tsunami approaching us. And so right now I'm looking out into the ocean, if you will, and that tsunami wave is coming at us. It hasn't hit ground yet, but it's just about to. And because most of the development on this material, as far as in actual real-world applications, started about 2 or 3 years ago, and they're about ready to make landfall right now. So that's typically new materials don't come on the market and make an immediate splash. It was done in the back rooms a few years ago, and now it's really fastly approaching. And it's because of a lot of it's to do with the macroeconomic events that have been going on. Mm-hmm. Higher gas prices, you need lower weight across all industries, and there's a huge push across all industries to reduce weight through the use of new materials.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is going to translate. Is it going to also translate into lower costs for the consumer?
Yes.
It is. And explain that. Elaborate on that.
Absolutely. Because secondary to weight reduction, anytime you're using a plastic versus a metal, you're also going to be able to improve your manufacturing and reduce the cost of that as well. So, end of the day, you are going to reduce costs to the consumer, and across the board. You'll get better miles per gallon in your car, but the logistics cost of getting your goods to you is going to go down as well.
Doug Bathauer, thanks so much for your time. Again, that website, I'm going to spell it out to make sure there's no confusion. It's called Electroplast, but it's ELECTRIPLAST. That's ELECTRIPLAST.com. And final thoughts before I let you go.
Well, I appreciate the time, but I appreciate the opportunity. And I guess the real message out there to the listeners is really just pay, in general, not just specific to us, is really just pay attention to some of the macro trends that go on all around the world, because the macro trends ultimately is what drives innovation, and that's what drives change across everything. And we're the benefactor of some of the macro changes now.
Thanks so much, Doug. I appreciate it. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter. And this is The Price of Business.